I arrive late enough to be a joke. Boots slapping wet stone, jacket half-zipped, breath burning in the cold air of the cavern, while the right drones on beneath Eden 9's storm domes. My badge chirps a reprimand, 31 seconds past curfew window, and 3 cadets grin like they've never once been me. "Cole," Sergeant Harper calls from the far side, voice echoing off basalt ribs. "You're up. Touch the forehead. Don't freelance." Too late. The last Zeon woman towers above us, 8 feet of veined slate, lips calm, eyelids closed like she's bored of centuries. They pulled her from the East Ridge before I was born, stood her in this ceremonial socket, and told us she mattered because we said so. Every year we perform the apology, pretend our words have weight. Drones float with red recording dots. Tourists, 2 of them, rich, rain-slick jackets, whisper into their visors. The stone sweats. My hands are still greasy from refitting a power bus. I wipe them on my pants, and the oil smears like guilt. I climb the 3 steps to the plinth. The PA coughs up the script. Honor of contact, interspecies humility, custodianship. I should repeat it. Instead, I meet the stone woman's mouth with a crooked grin I can't retire, lean in, and press my lips to cold rock. Something yields. A hairline whisper cuts across the brow under my mouth. Then another, oblique, like frost cracking on black glass at dawn. The sound is delicate and brutal at once. The statue splits along a seam that was not there, that cannot be there, and a rush of warm mineral breath hits my face. Light dies. The overhead panels gutter out. The backline generators hiccup and fail. The emergency diodes throw a sick cherry smear across helmets and cheeks. Far above, the storm domes flicker. Out on the ridge, ancestral antenna spines unfold from their housings and stretch toward a sky that answers with electricity. The ground beneath my boots begins to hum, a thread of sound so low I feel it in my teeth. She steps out. Blue, not paint, not alloy, skin the color of light beneath ice. Eyes like water under pressure, rippling with currents I can't name. She isn't dressed. She's wrapped in a veil of mica dust and thin threads of grown crystal that shed with each breath. That breath is ragged, like air is a thing with edges. She sways. I move without thinking, arms up, taking her weight. Heat snaps through my fingers the instant our skins meet. Not burn, not shock. Connection. My nerves light like filament. Her pulse hammers against my palm, not human but insistently alive. Her shoulder is slick with melt and dust. A flake of crystal sticks to my lip from where the stone gave way. I taste it, and it tastes like weather. "Don't move!" Harper barks, boots pounding, rifle slung but ready. The drones tighten their circle, cones of white light stabbing for a target that shifts in my arms. For 1 second, there's only us. She leans in, mouth a breath from mine, and whispers in a voice that should not know me but does. "You broke the seal." My name, which is not a prayer, swells in my chest like it wants to be one. The cavern is a bowl of held breath. The rain above becomes a drum. The antenna spines finish their long yawn and lock onto a point I can't see. "What's your name?" I ask. Stupid. Perfect. Her gaze drops to my mouth, then climbs to my eyes like a measured ascent up a mountain face. "Nia," she says, tasting the syllable as if verifying it against a map. "And you?" "Ethan." She listens, not to me, through me. A frequency slides through her posture, a tuning. Her head turns slightly, as if someone across a room just called her softly. The arrays hum deeper. On my HUD, before it dies entirely, a dozen ancient channels flicker and open like eyes. "Cole." Harper is close now, breath sharp, the chew hidden in his molar tangy with adrenaline. "Hands off! Step back!" We secure first. I hear them, Naya murmurs, and the drones hesitate, fooled by a voice they don't have a rule for. Old path, line of return, home is transmitting a claim. Sounds crowded, I say, and realize my hands haven't left her. Won't. Home is a contract, she says, eyes still tilted, body still listening. Then she looks at me fully, and something about the contract cracks. But the route changed. The gallery ripples with human reactions. A gasp swallowed, a prayer in Russian, the mayor swearing softly into a dead calm. A child, too young for protocol etiquette, asks her father if the blue woman is cold. My badge vibrates a final warning, then goes slack like a stunned insect. Her fingers lace with mine. Deliberate, not reflex. Skin to skin, a pulse clicks. Hers, then mine, then something between. The quiet that lands inside me is strange and clean, like rooms after a storm. Step away, Harper says again, but he's slower now, not because he doubts the danger, but because wonder has curled against the edge of his voice. Cole, what did you do? I was late. I kissed a lie. The lie opened. A person fell into my life and decided, for the span of one breath, that I might be safe. Fear is a protocol, Naya whispers. I can run it or not. I huff a laugh I didn't know I had left. Teach our cadets that. Something out past the ridge answers the arrays, a bass note so heavy it presses my tongue to my palate. The tourists' visors reboot and display nonsense. The drones drop another meter, machine curiosity dressed as caution. A cable slithers down a wall and kisses a forgotten port. Sparks spat like angry bees. Dust drifts like slow rain. The cavern smells like ozone and wet iron. Naya's knees soften again. I take more of her weight. She lets me. It should feel like lifting a stone. It feels like carrying a decision. Ethan, she says, and my name, tasting different in her mouth, slides along a wire through my ribs and tightens something that was slack for years. The seal was meant to wait for a voice patterned to the council. Instead, it keyed to a personal vector. You. Accident of a lifetime, I offer. Accident is poor engineering, she says, but the stern note fractures into a smile that doesn't quite arrive and somehow still lights my whole body. Or very brave design. Stand down, Harper mutters to no network, habit-biting air. He realizes, swears, lifts a hand palm out. He's close enough now to touch us, and doesn't. Everybody hold. We don't spook the artifact. She's not an artifact, I say, and it's the first time I realize I've already switched tenses in my head for her. Naya tilts her forehead until it almost touches mine. It's nothing where I'm from. It's everything where she is. My breath catches because something in me recognizes the move, the alignment, the idea of truth declared without language. I will fall again if I stand alone, she says quietly. Then don't, I answer, shocked at the ease of it, at the we that sneaks into my lungs and stays. Lean. Harper exhales through his nose, eyes on the split shell behind us. Cole, I will ask this once. Are you in control? No, I say honestly, but I'm here. A tremor shivers up through the plinth. The stone halves that were her skin settle against the floor like tired shoulders. The antenna spines click as if taking attendance. Somewhere in the west tunnel, a generator coughs back to life, gives up, and dies. The storm above hammers the domes until the echoes become part of my pulse. They will come, Naya says, almost against my mouth, the words soft but carrying like a struck chord. Yours with boxes and laws, mine with chains wrapped in song. We'll deal, I tell her, surprising myself with the certainty, the absurdity, the hunger for that future. Together. For one held breath, Despite rifles and cameras and a galaxy waking its old bones, we forget everyone. The spark between us is timid, only because language hasn't caught up. It wants to burn. The base stays dark. The arrays keep listening. The ground keeps time like a new heart. And I, late to everything, am suddenly, exactly, perfectly on time. The ultimatum arrives at noon like a knife through fabric, a wideband burst that rides every guttering relay we've got left. The Zeon voice isn't a voice so much as a cathedral vibration translated into syllables our translators pretend they understand. It names an hour, a corridor of sky, a penalty. If we don't return their broken seal, they'll excise Eden 9 from its coordinates, which sounds like poetry until you remember they can do math with gravity. By dusk, dropships punch atmosphere like hot nails. The storm domes flash white, then bruise purple. Sirens go from theatrical to honest. Harper throws the outpost to hard lockdown and asks me, with professional calm, what the hell I did. I say the same thing 3 times. I kissed a statue, Sarge. And he rubs his eyes and mutters something about paperwork that will kill him faster than shrapnel. I slip out anyway. Not heroics, habit. When the world shouts, I get small. When the routes are blocked, I know the gaps. Eden 9 was a prospector grid before it was a shrine. Half the colony's veins are forgotten service tunnels, and heat dumps you can crawl if you don't mind being dirty with the planet's old breath. My palm lamp throws a dim coin of light along maintenance rails, slick with mineral sweat. The air tastes like batteries. Outside the dome, the sky is full of falling stars that aren't. The dropships leave wakes of ion blue. The ridge flexes with the weight of antenna spines, trying to remember a wartime posture. Power drones, tri-rotor skeletons with scavenged solar skins, slew from their cradles, confused and brave. A city bus converted from cargo chassis lurches along the perimeter, full of evacuees gripping paper bags like relics. A kid presses his face to the window and waves at me like I'm the future. I wave back like I know how. I find Nia where the ridge curls into the ruins of the first dig. Geometry loses its patience there. Angles behave like rumors. Distances fold drunk. The tunnels were poured by machines that chewed through bedrock and sang while they worked. Their songs calcified in the walls as patterned crystal that still vibrates if you breathe certain notes. She's standing just wrong of a shadow, eyes half closed, as if the air itself is speaking privately. "You came," she says, without opening them. "Security will mark me absent when I don't sign my bedtime prayer," I say. "I brought snacks." The snacks are a med strip, a microfilter flask, and a rag made from an old work shirt. She laughs despite herself. The sound is small and round, and makes the tunnel widen by a feeling. Her left calf is cut from knee to ankle, not deep, but bright. Her blood is the color of cold stars. It beads, then crystallizes along the edges of the wound, like frost finding a grammar. I kneel on the grit, roll the med strip free with my teeth, and wrap. The polymer knits where it touches her skin, drawing tight with a whisper that feels impolite to listen to. "You don't have to," she starts. "I know," I say, and mean it. "I want to." Her tremor isn't fear, it's awareness. The buzz between our hands earlier made a map we're both trying not to unfold too fast. I feel her watching me watch the cut, the way my brow knots, the way my fingers double-check pressure the way my father taught me when we patched fuel lines with cloth and honed nerves. She touches my cheek with the back of her hand, a test I don't know how to pass or fail. "Feels like you're warming up on me," I say, trying for light, missing and landing honest. "And you?" "On me," she answers, and the corners of her mouth almost do that secret thing again. A search capsule hums past the ruin's maw. Its beam scrapes the labyrinth. The labyrinth lies back. The capsule moves on, fooled the way a bully is fooled when a field mouse stops breathing perfectly. After the bowl, I say. We go under. She nods. The echo will answer questions you don't yet know to ask. Great, I say. I've been dying to feel small in new ways. We slip into the labyrinth, and geometry tries its tricks. Floors become near walls. A staircase leads back to its own first step. Hallway mouths swap places when you blink too long. She moves like someone trained to negotiate power, not terrain. Straight line, cost-benefit, command posture. I tug her sleeve and pull her around a collapsed vault, shoulder against hers, and we both get dusty enough to pass as the places. Your roots, she murmurs. They were not on my map. Your map didn't grow up here, I say. It was curated. Mine was drawn by a boy who hated getting yelled at by adults who didn't know the vent shafts as well as he did. Status and humanity, elbow to elbow, crawl under a sagging arch. When she stumbles, she tries to pay me with apology, with debt language, like gratitude must be invoiced. I wave the invoice away and hand her the flask instead. She drinks like the act is intimate ceremony. We keep moving. The echo bowl opens underneath us like a lung, an amphitheater graven by a bored god, ribs of crystal arcing overhead, floor patterned with lines that look random until your heartbeat learns the rhythm. Our lamps become unnecessary. The walls carry their own dusk light, a soft respiration that reacts to footfalls and questions you don't say aloud. I have to sing, Naya says, and the way she says have contains a hatch I'm going to try to open with kindness instead of a crowbar. Okay, I say, and sit on the lip of the lowest tier, boots hanging over the soft abyss. Listen. Her first note sounds like a ship turning in its sleep. The second threads the cracks in the floor. The third convinces my skin I am both older and younger than I've ever been. The bowl answers. The ceiling lattice softens into pattern. Images aren't images here. They're pressure on the thought, scent of memory, temperature, and weight. I see. No, feel. Hands like hers touching a world from orbit with rules and schedules. A council that speaks in braided probabilities. A doctrine that calls empathy an error rate to be minimized. The living seal, she says between phrases. A pact made when we first arrived. Not conquest, custody. We were to keep certain machines. Sleeping. Eden 9 was a key. I was the hand. And me? I ask. My voice looks small against her music and stands anyway. What did I do besides bad timing? You offered choice to a circuit designed for command, she says. You looked at a lock and didn't try to own it. You touched it like it was a person. I tell her about my mother, about the refinery fires when I was 9, about the hammer she kept under the sink for men who mistook kindness for permission, about being tired of orders that made rooms colder without making anyone safer. The bowl listens without recording. My words make the light lean toward us. Silence kneels between us. It's almost a kiss, almost a promise. I stand and she stands, and we meet halfway, in a space the world didn't intend for this purpose, and so it feels right. I fold her into my arms like I am trying to keep heat in a fragile place. She presses her forehead to mine. Among the Zeon, that's confession. Among the humans, that's improvisation. Among us, it's necessary. The kiss is gentle, and it is hungry, not for flesh, but for an honest universe, for proof that two people can pick each other in a room full of systems. My fingers find hers. Her breath tastes like rain through stone. We stay one more breath, maybe 2. The war above forgets our names for the length of time it takes to choose each other. The echo fractures into alarm. A tone like a spine breaking runs the tears. Symbols in the lattice rush to red. Naya's song cuts, and she sags, catching herself on me, cursing in a language that sounds like static melting. Through the bull's mouth, I see dust plumes slash the canyon, a Zion arrest spiral, crisp formation, protocol incarnate. From the opposite ridge, human headlights flare, their own hunger. Secure the asset, secure the credit, secure the story. Council will call me a failed SEAL, Naya says. They will take me and close the door on this world. Command wants a miracle they can put in a case, I say. Same result, worse customer service. I'll distract them, she whispers. You run. I choose you, I say, and I don't recognize my own voice because it fits. I smash the beacon, Harper's tracker, under my boot. I steal a grav bike from a patrol rack at the lip of the ruins, with the clean sin of a man who's been waiting his whole life to do one thing absolutely right. I slap smoke decoys into vents that will burp confusion for a square kilometer. Then I lace my fingers with hers and pull us into the dust dark, hearts loud, lungs louder. Pulse bolts stitch the night like angry constellations. Searchlights rake the cliffs. A bot hound the size of a refrigerator takes our scent and howls in Doppler. I keep to the maintenance scars, the places the quarry machines chewed and forgot. The grav bike winds low and mean, belly skimming rock. Nia leans into my back like she trusts me with death and the possibility of better. Where now? She shouts above the engine and the sudden cough of falling stone. Somewhere they don't know us, I shout back. Somewhere names don't buy or sell. The old cargo hangar waits beyond the dune ridge, a mouth closed on history. Its door is a slab of night. I hit the manual override with my whole body, and the door thinks about it, then agrees to live again. We slide inside. The dark embraces, then yields to emergency strips that wake like embarrassed fireflies. We disappear into the night with a chance at peace tucked under our ribs. We carry our newbie like a lamp. Outside, two traps close their teeth and find we're not where the math said. Inside, for a moment, there is only the clatter of our breath and the knowledge that I have never been so frightened, or so certain, or so awake. The cargo hangar is a rib cage of a dead animal, all echo and old dust. I kill the grav bike, and the sound that replaces it is our breathing. Emergency strips glow along the walls, as if embarrassed to be seen again. The air smells like oxidized hope. I slam the door bolts. Naya leans against a stack of retired ore caskets, catching her balance with a kind of grace that has math in its bones. We'll be blind in here, I say. We will be private, she answers. And the word is heavy, like a door with history. The far end of the hangar holds a service lift I remember as myth. We pry it open, kick a nest of wire mice from the shaft, and drop into a maintenance tunnel that tastes old. A century of handprints have polished the ladder rungs. We descend until the ladder refuses to exist, and the floor meets us with a mineral sigh. The hall waits beneath the echo bowl like a secret decided not to keep itself. Columns bloom from the rock as if grown from instruction and weather. The walls carry living patterns, not decorative, not random, circuits that breathe. My lamp throws a disk of light that the glyphs ignore. They have their own. When I step closer, a pulse moves under the surface like something swimming just below thought. Naya touches the wall. It warms under her palm, a tide going out and returning. Living archive, she says softly. Not storage. Dialogue. I stand close enough to feel the heat off her shoulder. She has a new steadiness after running, a purpose that keeps her hands from shaking. So talk to it, I say. Ask what the hell we woke. She smiles, not at me, not away from me, somewhere in the middle where a person puts trust. She starts the crossing song. It's not melody like my mother taught me. its structure made audible, an equation you feel in your teeth. The walls wake more of their light. Lines appear beneath lines, like thoughts correcting thoughts. The hall becomes a quiet sea of graphics and glow. Images load as pressure. I feel a ship arrive in orbit, not with thrusters, but with permission. I feel contracts braided through atmosphere, like climate control. I feel the council as a geometry that believes good is whatever supports its design. I feel a pact, older than our outpost. Zean and human signatures intertwined around Eden 9, agreeing to keep certain engines asleep until both sides were wise enough to love what they borrowed. The living seal, Naya says, singing between words. My birthright. My chain. I was engineered to be the hand that wakes what must be woken and refuses what must not, according to approved ethics matrices. And the council decides which is which, I say. The council decides which questions can be asked. Her face goes still as a blade. But there is a fault, a noise they could not predict. You. Me, I say, deadpan, a guy with a late streak in a mouth. Your mouth finished the song, she answers, and her tone could have been clinical, but it isn't. Not because of DNA, because you approached without price. The seal accepted you as oversight. As humanity's veto. I blow out a breath. The idea is bigger than my chest. So, the statue wasn't a memorial. An interface, she says. A promise you forgot. That we preferred you forget. Because it made us answer to someone we did not train. I walk the perimeter, looking like I know how to read a wall that thinks it is a sea. The glyphs swim when I pass, shadows of meaning tugging at the corners of my good sense. The hall shows a branching, futures in quiet threads. In one thread, the council retrieves Nia and resets the seal with a compliant hand. The engines wake when they are told, and the world narrows into an elegant prison. In another, humans carve the hall out and sell tours. Both are losses dressed as order. What did they want sleeping? I ask. Nia sings a phrase that tastes like wind inside stone. A chamber unfurls on the wall. A core, a heart, a slow machine that eats war. Not weapons, she says. A guardian. It prevents the hot logic of escalation. It reduces courage for cruelty. It rewrites anger into delay. It makes time. Peace engine, I say. Too fast. Like naming will make it friendly. Not peace, she corrects. Delay. You must choose peace anyway. That's honest, I say, and fail to keep the ache out of my voice. My species isn't good at later. You are good at now, she says, hesitant as if praising a dangerous animal. Which is why I think the seal wanted you. I tell her a story then, not because it helps the plot, but because it helps me breathe. My mother at the refinery gate, holding a line while executives drove past in tinted vans. How she missed her own father's last hour because the strike needed bodies. How she cried while counting the day's pay in the kitchen, alone, except for me and the hammer under the sink. How she told me that love is the only law worth breaking the others for. Your mother sounds like a council, Naya says, and then flinches at her own words. Forgive. No. She sounds like a person the council would try to hire, to hollow. She wouldn't take the job, I say. She'd break their recruitment tablet with a hammer. Naya's laugh is a soft, stunned thing, like hearing water after thirst. The walls respond with a friendly shiver. She steps close, and the pattern nearest us brightens until I can see, in its depth, something like her face. Not exactly. The suggestion of her. Discipline layered over longing. What do you want, Nia? I ask. Not the council, not the plan. You. She looks at me like I've handed her a tool she was told she'd never need. That question, she says, is considered rude where I am from. Consider me provincial, I say. Answer anyway. I want, she starts, and stops. Her throat works once, twice. A muscle in her jaw ticks with allegiance trying to hold. I want a voice that is mine to still the engine that makes everyone speak like machines. I want to wake what can save without paying with obedience. I want to stand not above, not outside, but among. That last one has bad pay, I say. Then it is honest pay, she replies. Silence comes and sits with us. It's comfortable. It is also electric. We move at once because some choices want momentum. She presses her forehead to mine, and it feels like a window opening in my chest. The kiss is patient and new and older than either of us. It tastes like rain finding a path down to root. When we separate, the hall exhale laughs, a ripple dancing over the living script. The patterns open a hatch at the far end, a seam revealing itself to two people who have told the room enough truth to be trusted. Behind the seam, a stair descends into a glow that isn't light so much as permission. Below, Naya says, the heart. If we touch it together, the guardian will wake in the mode we choose. You mean it'll ask us who we are, and we'll have to mean the answer? I flex my fingers, sudden sweat slicking my palm. I hate interviews. Footsteps above, metal on old metal. A voice like Harper's but not his, tight, greedy, orders men to spread. From the other side, a Zeon calling cadence, an arrest hymn dressed in duty. Two closing hands again. The hall dims, waiting to see what we are. Ethan, Naya says, and the fear in her is not for herself. If we wake it wrong, both sides will claim ownership with fire. Good thing I'm here to be untrained. I take her hand. It fits messy and right. We go together. We tell it what we are. No price, no chains. She nods, a soldier learning a civilian trick. Trust. We start down the revealed stair, footsteps careful, breaths counting the distance. As we descend, the hall's pulse aligns with ours. The permission grows warmer. The patterns recede behind us like stars. At the last landing, we pause. Above, the first man drops into the tunnel and curses at the heat. Across the way, the Zeon hymn pivots to the verse where mercy is replaced by procedure. Between them, the heart waits. Ready? I ask. No, she says, and squeezes my hand, firm. Go. The stair narrows, then opens into a chamber that looks like the inside of a paused thunderhead. The heart sits at the center, not a machine exactly, more like a knot of translucent ribs holding a darkness that wants to be a lake. It emits a slow note my bones adopt without asking. Patterns ghost across its surface, invitations and warnings braided tight. Boots hit the landing above. Human voices pinball down the shaft. Orders, badge pings, someone joking too loud to hide fear. From the opposite tunnel comes the Zeon cadence, precise, almost pretty if you don't know what it collects. Between them and us hangs the pause where lives change. Naya squeezes my hand. I can give myself up, she whispers. The council will unmake the deviation in me. Your people will get a treaty version for the cameras. Everyone can pretend comfort. You'll be erased, I say. They'll cut the song out of you and call it mercy. Her eyes flick to the heart, back to me. And you? You will be offered a payment for the kiss, a chair at the human table, oversight reduced to a stipend. She isn't wrong. The thought makes my mouth taste like aluminum. Footsteps multiply. A human spotlight spears the stairmouth and slices the chamber in sterile white. On the other side, Zeon lanterns descend like Medusas, casting soft blue nets. The light touches the heart and the note deepens, hungry. Nia. The Zeon voice is female, a clean blade wrapped in velvet. It comes through a clipped mouthpiece, and through the wall both. Curator Hal, the one you call Mother Sound. Kneel, child. We will repair you. Ethan Cole, a human voice counters. Colonel Paddock, chain of command polished like a boot. Hands where I can see them. Step away from the device, and we will write you into history alive. 2 leashes, same pull. Harper appears at the far landing, weapon low but ready. His face the map of a man who hates the assignment he can't refuse. He sees me. I shake my head once. He swallows a word and keeps breathing. Nia, Hal says again, this time not on the comm alone. The wall carries her voice as a pressure that remembers rocking cradles. Protocol. Return to hand. Nia flinches like something under her skin just got jerked. I see the war inside her, the bone-deep training, the desire to be simple again because simple doesn't hurt. I want to break something for her. I want to offer something gentler. Ethan, she whispers, eyes damp with anger that has nowhere to go but forward. Let me go. No, I say, softer than a promise, harder than a wall. I choose you. The room hears it. The heart hears it. The darkness between the translucent ribs gathers itself like muscle before a run. Sergeant Harper, Paddock barks. If Cole takes one more step, shoot him in a survivable place. Copy, Harper says, neutral, which is another way to say not yet. Child, Hal purrs, and the term drops knives from sugar. You were built to hold, to be held, come back into the right shape. Don't talk to her like she's a drawer, I snap. Then prove it, Paddock says. Step aside. Nia lifts her chin, jaw tight, eyes on mine. The Guardian cannot be woken by ownership. It will read intention, not rank. She nods at the heart. Together? I should be sweating. I am. I take her hand and lead us to the ribs. The heat is strange, cold from far away, warm from within. I press my palm to the surface, and it flexes like water, resisting and then giving. Nia lays her hand next to mine. The patterns lift to meet us. Millions of small agreements asking one impossibly private question. Who are you to each other? Say it, Nia breathes. I am the one who caught you, I say, surprising us both, and the one who won't put you down. I am the one who will not spend you, she says, voice breaking, even for the world. The heart accepts. The chamber shifts to a lower gear of quiet, then a higher. The ribs kindle, lines of slow fire racing their length. The darkness in the center wakes and organizes into threads that do not tangle. Something in the air subtracts the first urge toward panic. The men on the landing take a half step they can't feel, caught between habit and an unaccountable calm. Paddock snarls like a man watching leverage dissolve. Now, Sergeant, Harper raises his rifle, points it not at me, but at the spotlight generator. Fires. The beam dies. The chamber returns to honest glow, and the sudden absence of glare lets everyone see everyone as people, not shapes. Paddock screams. Half his squad flinches, then covers the delay by shouting. On the blue-lit side, Curator Hal drops the velvet. Arrest pattern, she orders, and 3 Zeon operators uncoil with terrifying grace. Vaulting tears like geometry loves them. The heart deploys a veil. It's invisible until it isn't. A shift in pressure, a layer of rain without wet. When it touches the Zeon trio, their velocity fails. Not violently, like a sigh. They roll to crouches, evaluate, then lower their weapons, as if the idea of first strike just loses taste. One looks at Nia, blinks, and I see a person under a doctrine. It delays, Nia whispers, awed. It buys time from anger. Paddock's men open fire anyway, because some people hate the mineral taste of patience. Pulse bolts punch the veil and come out slow as thrown stones. They drop with a noise like lazy hail. The heart absorbs the impact, diagrams the trajectory, shows us the waste. "Colonel," Harper says, not loud, not meek, "we can walk back from this." "That's not the contract," Paddock hisses, spitting the word like a sweet he overpaid for. "Cole, step away from the alien. You can be the human face of this program." "Or the human cost," I say. "Pass." Curator Hal's voice tightens, intimacy turning into command. "Nia, you were mine. You belonged." Naya's shoulders square, history digging fingernails in and failing to pull. "I was yours," she says, and the past tense detonates quiet. "I belong nowhere you can count." Hal's face appears at the edge of the veil, blue, symmetrical, terrible. She is beautiful in the way cliffs are beautiful when you're falling. "Then I will break you into a shape that fits." The heart flexes and pushes the veil out another meter. "It will not hurt anyone. It cannot love us for us. It can only turn knives into spoons and ask what we'll do with them. It makes the room honest and leaves the choosing to us." "Ethan," Harper calls, eyes flicking door to door. "Exit vector?" "Back service tunnel," I answer, muscle memory waking. Under the coolant arrays, out to the bus yard. We steal legs. "Copy," he says, and turns to his own squad like he's issuing orders from a better future. "Nobody shoots unless shot at. We're retrieving civilians." "Nia," Hal says, and now her voice drops its velvet and its blade. It is simply tired. "Come home. I will hold you until the voices stop." Naya steps closer to the veil, to the woman who curated her into a tool. "You taught me to hold, but not to choose. I choose him. I choose this world intact. I choose delay over obedience." "Then you choose pain," Hal replies, and there is honest grief there too. "I choose people," Nia says. She looks at me. "Ready?" I nod. Always late, never leaving. We move. The heart lifts the veil along a line that becomes our road. The Zeon do not block us. Paddock lunges, but Harper is there, not shooting, just stepping into the man's space with the heavy annoyance of a boulder. We slide through the opening, into the back service tunnel, where the air tastes like machines dreaming of rivers. Up we go, boots punching past the maintenance paint that peels in sun-bleached flakes. Through a hatch I kick with the practiced ugliness of someone who did this as a teenager. Into a corridor lined with obsolete printers that still smell faintly of melted graphite. Past a window where the storm domes show the sky in slats. We burst into the bus yard. Rows of mothballed haulers sleep under tarps, stitched from sailcloth and municipal budgets. I cut a tie with my knife, drag canvas the color of patience off an old courier skiff, and grin at the blessed dented beast beneath. "You can fly that?" Naya asks. "I can ask it for favors." Bullets do not chase us. The heart has smeared urgency like butter too thin to hold shape. Still, shouts multiply and feet remember their jobs. I find the ignition coil, hot wire with a strip from my badge, and the skiff coughs to life like a dog surprised to be wanted. Naya climbs in, hands shaking and sure. I jump the curb, scrape a wall, and then we are in the alley, fishtailing grit, breath-sawing. Behind us, the chamber remains, a knot of patience in a world that sells speed. Ahead, the city opens, maps rewriting as the dropships cast longer shadows. "Where?" Naya asks, hair blown back, eyes bright with a new kind of fear that includes hope. "Somewhere they don't know us," I say, and it's a joke until it isn't. I know a place where the grid forgets to bill. We thread the night. Searchlights crisscross like children's chalk. The storm domes bead rain as if learning tears. My hands shake until they don't. Her shoulder leans into mine. A decision, not a gravity accident. We do not win. Not yet. We do something harder. We refuse to be bought. The skiff clears the last perimeter wall with a noise like luck. The dunes beyond glimmer with cold, honest stars. We drive into them, 2 small lives dragging a stubborn engine of delay behind us, buying a little time for a world that might, if asked gently and held without price, learn to choose.